Thank you, Hoyo, for bringing back the DoT meta. Kafka and Black Swan are finally getting another massive buff, with Hysilens coming as the first phase banner. This physical Nihility unit is clearly meta-defining. So let's go over all her best Lightcones, Relics, Teamcomps, and Eidolon value, without stalling. Now, her Lightcone options are fairly simple. She wants a lot of effect hit rate, among other buffs, so her signature is a decent upgrade over the rest, providing everything she needs, plus a team-wide speed buff. Black Swan's signature is surprisingly strong, providing effect hit rate, attack percent, and DoT defense shred, making it her second best. Then Jiaocha's signature is strong as well. Don't use Kafka's signature, it's not great on Hysilens herself. Some more free-to-play and 4-star options will be Eyes of Prey, really only at S5. Same with Good Night Sleep Well. Showtime is decent, or the Herdershop Lightcone, but it does run into the same problem Kafka's Sig does, where they don't provide any effect hit rate. But if your stats can make up for that, they're decent options. For reference, Hysilens needs a total of 120% effect hit rate for her kit to be fully utilized. With that being said, we can move on to her relics. Obviously, the DoT set is best in slot, nothing else comes close, don't use anything else. Then our best planner set will be Revelry by the Sea, also the best DoT set. Now, the main stats you want to aim for will be effect hit rate on the body. You can run attack percent if you have insane substat luck and can hit 120% without the main stat, but realistically, most people should run effect hit rate. She also wants speed on the boots, but there's a couple things to mention here. Now, she doesn't need to go that fast, only the standard 134. She has a base speed of 102 and gets 14 speed from her traces. So, if you can get 18 speed from substats, then that can justify putting her on attack percent boots for much more damage. On the orb, she can use either physical damage or attack percent. If you need more attack, go attack percent, otherwise go physical. Then the rope should always be attack percent. Now, I said if you need more attack, so I'm gonna go over her substat goals to show what I mean. Firstly, 120% effect hit rate is most important. She gets 90% damage from her passive, plus being Nihility. Effect hit rate is important anyways. At least 3600 attack in combat because of Revelry, and that's her damage source. So when I said if you need more attack, that means if you are not at 3600 yet. Then finally, 134 speed minimum. No other stat matters besides effect hit rate, attack, and speed. Moving on to Teamcomps. I think most of us know who she's made for, but let's cover her role. She's a Nihility physical DoT DPS, so she does damage and wants to be buffed. Now, her best teammate will of course be Kafka. Even though Kafka isn't a quote-unquote buffing unit, she is essential for any DoT comp because of her detonations and significant 100% attack buff. Black Swan is a very strong option, providing Arcana and defense shred. I like to mention Hysilens does actually prefer to be in a triple DoT comp, so Kafka, Black Swan, and herself make the best premium DoT comp in the game. For sustains, honestly anything works, with Huohuo sounding the best, but SP will be a problem. So Gallagher, Adventurean with Universal Market, Hyacine, Luocha, they all work if they can regen skill points effectively. Now, if you don't plan to run her with Black Swan, or don't have Black Swan, then she does have many other options. I will say there is no real replacement for Kafka, she's practically essential. But some buffer options can be Robin, that's a massive attack buff among many other things, Tribby with that res pen, even Ron May for damage and speed, especially if you have E1. Any team-wide buff is good. Cypher is also crazy strong, Pela is decent, and Silverwolf too. However, the most important question to answer is, does she work with DoTcheron? And absolutely not. So we move on to Eidolon value. Her E1 is better than her S1, for those wondering. She has lots of Lightcone options, so E1 is a much better choice. Now, what does it do? So when Hysilens is on field, allies deal more DoT damage, and when Hysilens inflicts any DoT on enemies through her talent, there's a 100% base chance to inflict another DoT stack related to her talent. This pretty much means the enemy takes more damage from specific sources of DoT. It's essentially a big team-wide damage increase and very solid for the triple DoT comp. A little less valuable for double DoT, but still useful nonetheless. Now, E2 is weird. When Hysilens ults, her E6 trace applies to all teammates, meaning when she has 120% effect hit rate, everyone gains a 90% damage buff, or lesser if she is less than 120 EHR. Now, both Kafka and Black Swan do benefit from this buff, however, it is a very saturated one for them, so it sounds good, but overall, it doesn't boost team damage that much, and does absolutely nothing for Hysilens herself, so kind of a disappointing E2. E4, when her ult field is up, reduces enemies ult type resistance by 20%, pretty decent team-wide DPS increase, but I mean, 5 Hysilens for the equivalent of 1 Tribby skill, bit of a scam, but let's move on to her final Eidolon, E6. While her ult zone is active, each start of an ally's turn or attack increases max trigger count for Hysilens' physical DoT effect up to 12 times, and increases damage multiplier by 20%. So this allows her to just do more damage. If you look at her ult description, it just bumps the 8 up to a 12. Surprisingly underwhelming Eidolons after E1. She's perfect at S0, E0. Most of her value comes from her broken kit itself. You absolutely do not need to pull copies for her to clear all the endgame content. But that's everything for Hysilens. DoT enjoyers are eating good. Glad they're at least attempting to fix this crippled archetype. But of course, DoTcheron continues to be best.